friends, and welcome back to my crafty space. My name is Crystal, and in today's video, I'm going to be working on my next 3 stories using the Laugh Story Kit for this month's StoryKitCrush challenge. So my first story is going to be, I'll probably work on this one first. This is going to be a story from our honeymoon where my husband competed in this like manly man competition, and it was one of the funniest moments maybe ever. The second story is all about some Snapchat filters and goofing around with my family when we went to visit my sister down in Florida. And I have some really old snapshots of the Snapchat filters and then some hysterical videos that go along with this story. And then the last one is a story about my daughter and just some of the funny things that she says. My plan is to use my outline speech bubble stamp set from Ali Edwards to create my own speech bubbles on here and write in those some of the things that she has said, and then to use this as my title piece up at the top. So that is what we're going to be working on today. I'm going to put you on fast forward and work on getting all 3 of these completed. Once I have them done, we will slow back down to finish up a couple of last things, and then before I end the video, I'll go back and read all of my journaling for those of you who want to hear me read that out loud. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So rather than starting right in that honeymoon spread this time, I'm actually going to set everything aside except for the things that I need for stamping. I figured that that would be a really good way to start today, to just go ahead and get all of the stamping portion done so that it can dry to the side while I work on the rest of my layouts. Also, I realized that I forgot to print a photo for that last spread, so I also went ahead and got that photo printed out so that I could add that to the spread as well. So for this first one, what I'm doing is I'm pulling out a bunch of these speech bubble outline shapes that came from the Ali Edwards 6x8 stamp set. And I'm also going to grab the filled in stamp that is a speech bubble shape from the actual Laugh Story Kit. Or I guess that's the story stamp. So I'm going to have a couple of the filled in ones, and then everything else is going to be an outline. I then took the 4x6 journaling card that says, "You make me laugh and it is the best gift." And I went and cut around the circle, leaving just a little bit of that green polka dot pattern around it so that it has an outline, but that's going to serve as the title for my piece, and having it cut out of that card allows me to put it directly onto my photo in the white space of the bricks around Isabella. So then I'm going to go through a couple of my different Ali Edwards Crafters inks in order to create my speech bubbles. I grabbed over the pink there. That one is Rose Garden. Next, I'm going to use Tillamook, which is the orange color. And then I'm also going to grab the Honeyman Yellow, which will be, I believe, the next one. And the Honeyman Yellow, I'm going to do both an outline and a filled in stamp. And then Rose Garden Pink, I also did an outline and a filled in stamp. And then I will grab my Willamette Green and then also the Columbia Teal. So I tried to pull out colors that were primarily found inside of this kit, knowing that if I used, a rainbow of colors, that it would go pretty well with the feeling and the sentiment of this spread, which is a really lighthearted, kind of a colorful story in general to talk about things that Isabella says that makes me laugh, and that being the best gift. I really loved working with the various shapes and sizes of speech bubbles and trying to keep them all, for the most part, different. The only one that I repeated the same stamp was the filled in stamp set. That one I'm going to use 2 of them, and then everything else is going to be a different stamp. So then I'm going to go ahead and just roughly cut around these, and then later I will take them to the side and go ahead and fussy cut all of those out. Now I'm going to bring over the next kit. So this is the next layout, which I'm going to put together while all of the stamping and the ink and all of that dries to the side. For this one on the right-hand side, it's going to be super simple, just a couple of those journaling cards. And then I took the Ha 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 card, which was originally a 4x6, and I cut it in half, so I have two 3x4s. One of them is going to be used for this story, and then another one I will use in a later video later on in the month. So I took one of the starbursts that says "so very funny," put some double-sided adhesive onto the back of the cork piece, and then stuck that down into the middle of the repeated ha 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 pattern. For the left side of my spread, I am actually going to create some kind of grid, layered embellishment type of look on the page. So I've printed 3 of those photos from the original Snapchat filters, one of my daughter, one of my mom, and one of my dad. Then I took another one of the journaling cards that had the 3 emojis at the top, and I'm going to back it just very slightly with this solid-ish, I say solid-ish because it's actually kind of more ombre, but it is a pink pattern paper that is from the from the Paige Evans Wonders collection. That's where that came from. So I just wanted a slight pop of color behind the journaling card there to help it stand out from the background, since my background paper is also white. And I've got a speech bubble that says the same ha 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 pattern in the same pink, orange, and red colors. And I wanted that to stand out a little bit more too. So when I designed this inside of Photoshop, I was able to layer all of these digital elements to try and figure out where I could type in my journaling so that I could layer these together and not cover anything up. That's why on the journaling card itself, there was that odd space in the bottom right corner. But that's because I ultimately planned to add the speech bubble on top of it there. And then I'm also going to add the chipboard piece that said "laugh so hard I cried" in the middle of all of those as well. So keeping everything positioned but not actually adhered down onto the page yet, I'm going to first put down all of the photos. These are going to be the bottom layer, or I guess not quite the bottom because the background paper is the bottom layer, but it's going to be, the layer underneath all of those embellishments. So I'm adding the one of Izzy and then the one of my dad, so that way those are in a straight line. And then this one of my mom, I'm actually going to put up a little bit so it'll be offset from the photos next to it, with a more significant blank portion at the bottom, because I'm actually planning to take some of these Snapchat videos that we created with the filters. I'm going to compile them into a single video, save that on my YouTube channel as a private video, and then you can create a QR code that links directly to that video and allows you to watch it. I can't remember if it has to be private, if a private video or an unlisted, but one of the two allows you to do that, to watch it as long as you have the direct link to that video. So I will create a QR code that links to the compilation video, and then I will print out the QR code and put it underneath the photo of my mom, making this spread complete. However, I need to get those videos from my sister because we actually did them on her phone, and then compile it from there. So I haven't got that part finished yet. I'm just going to leave the spot blank and then know that that's something that I still need to do at a later point in time. So now we're going to move on to the 9x12 spread here from Erin and I's honeymoon to Jamaica. I have this photo, which I'm printing in I think it's like 2 inches by 4 inches or something like that. And it's actually really dark in its original form. And the color was like kind of a yellowy, reddish light. So it was terrible lighting, dark photo. So I decided to just make it black and white and to lighten it up as much as I could without granulating everything. And then that's going to go at the bottom next to the So Funny journaling card. I like the way that that looks because the story is actually about the dark, terrible photo, not about the photo above it. So I wanted to make sure I had something that signified that the story was about, this event that happened. And then the photo above my So Funny journaling card is one from our honeymoon, but totally unrelated to the story. It just is only related in the sense that it was taken while we were on our honeymoon in Jamaica. We went to an all-inclusive resort, and while there, they have these photographers that just are all over the resort, and they'll take random pictures of you, and you give them like your room number, and they would assign it to that room number. And then at the end of our vacation, we could go and view all of the photos that had been taken of us and purchase any of them that we wanted. So I purchased a handful of them, and I've had them for a long time, for like years. Well, we've been married for almost 8 years. So for almost 8 years, and I've never done anything with them. They've just sat in like a bin of photos. So I've been trying to pull more and more of those out and get them used. So this one was just one of those photos, and here I've got it stuck down on a page, and it's helping me to tell a story, and that makes me very happy to have that out of the bin and on a page. To layer up next to the photo here, I am creating a collage using a bunch of the speech bubbles that came in the Laugh Kit. These all have different sentiments in them, like laugh so hard I cried, you make me laugh, it's the best gift, tee hee, there's the emojis, so darn funny, LOL. So like all different kinds of sentiments that mean laughing. And then I'm also adding a couple of chipboard stickers in there as well. So I've got one that says this cracked me up, and then I have one that says ha, and one that says LMAO. So I just kind of scattered those around next to the photo, and then underneath is going to be the journaling card and the photo from the actual event itself. And then once I get that stuck all down, then this spread is essentially done, and I'm just going to date stamp it with the date that I actually put this story together and told it on paper, which is typically how I date stamp my things, is not necessarily when the photos were taken, but more so when I actually documented that story. So now we're going to return to that first spread and get everything layered up on here. So first things first is I need to go ahead and get all of those fussy cut out. I left a little bit of a white rim around the outline portion just so that the full outline is there, and it gives it a little bit of added like kind of dimension sort of there. So I'm going to get these all into position, and then once I like where everything is at, we're going to go ahead and start sticking everything down. So I'm going to start with this title piece, which I will have interact with the edge of my photo. In fact, most of these are going to interact with the edge of the photo. And then all I need to do is just make sure that everything is under, like for instance, that the title there is underneath where the top of my photo is, because I will eventually trim that portion off. So as long as it's lined up there in a decent enough way, then that's good enough for me. And then all the rest of this I'm going to stick down. I decided to stick everything down before I handwrite in my journaling. That way, if anything gets cut off on the edges, then I don't have to worry about accidentally cutting off part of my writing. I also printed my photo as an outside of the page protector photo enlargement. So it is 6.875 by 8.25. Those are my dimensions in inches. And before I write in my journaling, I will also go ahead and hole punch this so that for the same reason, I don't accidentally punch through or mess up any of my journaling. So here's where we're going to turn everything over, trim it all off, and it'll give it this nice, clean look here. And then the last thing I'll do is just bring over my template and my hole puncher and get this hole punched. I do try to link up all of the supplies and the tools that I use throughout my process videos in the description area down below. So if you're looking for anything like this hole punch or my roller date stamp or the different inks or anything like that, you can find links to all of those down below. So make sure to check there. Occasionally I do forget things, so you can always let me know if there's something missing. All right, friends, that finishes up my 3 spreads for today. These ones were so fun to work on. I especially loved compiling a list of all the silly things that Isabella has said in this past week. That was a really fun practice of just paying attention and jotting things down as she was saying them. I also really love scrapping some of these older memories and being able to come back to them and just reminisce over these times, and also to laugh over them as I am telling the stories to my kids and my husband and bringing them back up with my parents. It was a really, I really enjoyed telling all of these stories this week. All right, friends, well, if you enjoyed seeing how these all came together, I would love a thumbs up on this video down below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button while you're there so you can see all of my future crafty videos as well. I'm going to finish up today's video by reading each of these stories, and then we will go ahead and say goodbye. But if you don't want to, or you want to skip over all this reading stuff, that's totally cool too, and you can end the video right here. For those of you who want to hear the story, here we go. So we'll start with this one about Isabella, where it says, "You make me laugh and it's the best gift." So in each of these speech bubbles, I put something that she has recently said. I've got, "Mommy, I'm sorry your legs are sore, but I really have it worse. Stomach aches are so bad." She said that to me in the car. We've got, "Mommy, I have just one question. Is the desert a real thing?" And then she followed that up, and I put the follow-up over here with, "But why do we have to have the desert?" Which I don't even know the answer to that, why we philosophically have to have the desert. Not sure. We've got, "Whenever I go to the bathroom at home, I like to just sit for a while. It's just comfortable." "Mommy, your butt looks really good." She said that to me in the dressing room the other day. "I love wearing my he-heels," which is what she calls high heels. And then, "I love Uncle Phil's house. He makes the best syrup. It's a strawberry syrup." I love the way that she says syrup. So those are hers. Then I've got this spread right here, which will go into a 6x8 album inside of page protectors. On the right side here, I said, "These Snapchat videos from our 2017 Disney trip are some of the funniest videos I've ever seen or been a part of. Our whole family cries with laughter anytime we watch them. So good." And then on this side, I've got a little bit of extra. I said, "Whenever you're in need of a really good laugh, just check out the QR code below." I am going to compile all of these videos into a separate video and then create a QR code that you can scan and then go and watch the videos when you look through this book. So that's just making a nod to that. I've made a video compilation of our very best ones. Loved taking turns with the family saying this sentence and using Snapchat filters. "Welcome to the wonderful world of Disney. How can I help you?" And that was our script that we would all say and like do crazy faces and all kinds. It was really like dumb and really funny at the same time. Love it. Love this memory so much. And these photos are hysterical. And then my last story is from the honeymoon that Aaron and I went on to Jamaica. So for this one, I said, "One of my favorite memories from our honeymoon was this silly event that Kermit and Queenie made you participate in." Kermit and Queenie were the event coordinators at our resort. And we made friends with them, which meant that they made us do every event. It was some kind of manly man competition where all the guys take off their shirts and compete in athletic activities. You were up against a slew of muscle builders, which totally made you nervous. The wives had an opportunity to order the men a shot before the competition began. Those super buff dudes enjoyed their frilly girly shots, but not you. Tequila it was. I was rolling with laughter as you strapped on a belt with a ball on a string at the end and then had to swing your hips to knock over a cup. Then, to my surprise, you killed it on the push-up challenge and beat them all. I was so proud of you. We both had such a laugh over the whole charade the rest of the time we were there. So this is actually from the event. It's just really dark and hard to see. And then that's just a different random photo from our actual honeymoon. So those are my 3 stories for today. I hope you enjoyed the journaling there, and maybe that gave you some ideas for some stories that you can tell with this laugh kit as well. All right, friends, well, I will be back again next week with another 3 spreads using the Laugh Story Kit, so hopefully I'll see you back here then. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend, and I will catch you all in next week's videos. Bye, friends.